All aboard the Game Pass train. We're in the, hopefully, loving arms of Microsoft now. The future is a little brighter, possibly, and everybody's super excited about Game Pass, myself included. But once we get to the Game Pass station, where are we headed? The next expansion is on its way, which I imagine is going to be an extension of the Dragons of Beverly Hills storyline, which leads us right into a new island, is my guess. And then you take the islands of the archipelago of Warcraft and put them smack dab in the middle of Game Pass, and that's great. Fine. But where you going? Because there is a little concern, right? World of Warcraft will no longer be that unique $15 a month sub. Very likely. And it being that Snowflake got it extra development. Now, I know it's not been Blizzard's moneymaker. That's Diablo Immortal. Remember the one everyone freaked out about? Yeah, that game is crushing. Absolutely. Very smart by Blizzard to sell people a Diablo gambling thing. I'd make another one if I was them. Maybe a couple more. Don't get it twisted, young ones. You guys spend all that time on your computer staring at your screen up in your own fucking head all night. You forget to look out around and see the whole world, and sometimes you guys lose sight of the big picture. But success in video game world is, at least in adult land, financial success. So if you want your game to be successful and you want it to be around, then you want it to be financially successful. And if it's not financially successful, and honestly, I think the goal is really financially super successful, like Diablo Immortal. And so this has been my complaint about Dragonflight. They've had more devs and they've pumped more shit into this expansion. More timelines and reworks. And I mean, this expansion has gotten the works when it comes to support. And it's still not putting out. I think a lot of people, whatever specific issues we would agree or disagree on, I think we can all agree, or at least a lot of us, and especially those of us maybe sitting on the sidelines, that WoW's lost that love and feeling. So that's a real hot take. But the response is always the same. Well, they need to go back to Azeroth and make WoW 2. Okay, but in whose image? I mean, I got downvoted on Reddit the other day for calling shamans the Horde class. They're like, oh, this guy must be stuck in Classic. Classic. I come from the old school, partner. This was my shit right here. And let's just check real quick. Oh, Heroes, Paladin, Horde side, Shaman. So I was correct. It's the fucking Horde class. And just because you think World of Warcraft started with the MMO, that's your deficiency, not mine. You guys play the version where everybody gets to be everything and both sides are equal and we all really just want peace. Go prance around on your flying kitten mounts, you cross-faction pussies. I come from the altar of kings. And there right away you see the problem. We should make WoW 2 and go back to Azeroth, everybody says. But the last time I checked, the classic Warcraft community's a bunch of bots and gold buyers. That's all it is. I mean, the gold selling sites are selling out when they're having big events. That's what hardcore WoW is. And even some people will say, well, not all of us buy gold. Fine. Okay, but like I said, the sites are selling out. So there's obviously some portion of the community that's very happy with that. So what? You're going to make WoW 2 and you're going to combine the delusional Dragonflight retail community that's still out here saying the game is arguably in the best shape it's been in since Legion. And, you know, you come on here and you'll even have kings come in here and try to explain to them, dude, there's no metric that supports that conclusion. Fewest number of guilds, fewest number of Mythic Plus. I've mentioned the PvP statistics. I mean, there's just no evidence that Dragonflight is doing well with the majority. And again, we're talking about financial success, which, again, in adult land is real success, not how you feel about it. And we want the game to be very successful because we want it to get investment. So you're going to take these delusional Dragonflighters from the retail community, and you're going to combine them with the account sharing, gold buying, classic hardcore community. Lather them both with thousands of bots, and you're going to place them all back into Azeroth and WoW 2. But what the fuck does that look like? Does it look like a Classic Plus? But like I said, that community comes with that Classic Plus. How are you going to stop the botting? How are you going to stop the gold buying in WoW 2? Are you even going to try? You're going to use the retail recipe? New Mythic Plus season, new PvP season, new raid, new zone with billions of new currencies. But that didn't do so well. Is it cross-faction? Go back to Horde versus Alliance? Could go back to my day where it was the Alliance, the Horde, and then the undead were their own faction. What about things like mounts and flying? Should you just be able to pull a mount out of your pocket and ride your mount from mob to mob during a quest? Do we want to reconsider about how people interact in the world? Maybe make it a little bit more immersive? You could make it highly customizable for some servers, right? You could have RP servers where there were stricter rules on what you could fly or not fly and when you could do so. But then again, you're kind of splitting your community more and more. And I'm not sure all this community that you've built in all these different games just comes back together so well. What's drawing each group of people to their version of Warcraft is that the classic community wants that old world, that old immersion. New World of Warcraft, it's too many gear treadmills. You just go through zone to zone. Nothing matters. You don't have any connection to it. And I think a lot of them will say that all the class and abilities and spells and add-ons, and they're like, fuck that. And then the retail community looks back and they can't quite get those nostalgia glasses to fit like they used to, without their group finders and just a lot of the gearing systems and the fact that, a lot of these classes are a lot better. I mean, I think Holy Pally on, retail is way better than playing Holy Pally in Classic. But there's people that'll disagree with that. And then we both kind of pick our version to play. And so, where's the bridge between that? Okay, we could maybe meet in the middle, maybe. Maybe it would still be too hard for the people that think it's too hard, and then it would be way too dumbed down for the people that like the challenge. And then people start picking their little opinion pieces, right? About that one thing they think would really change it up. No, it needs more world content. Get away from all the systems. Like the world content we have now, where you run around popping your currency piñatas to get more mounts, more pets, more toys, maybe trade them for another currency. The best way to do world content is just to go tag everything once and let everyone else in the zone kill it. You just burn things down. There's no real threat. There's no having to work with you. I mean, it doesn't even feel threatening. It feels like I could take the whole fucking zone by myself. And so, it doesn't feel like I'm doing something with my guys. It feels like I'm just running around knocking shit down to get my 15 knocked out so I got my daily done. And those are very, very, very different experiences. And so everybody says WoW 2's the solution. But you don't have to look around long before you collect many, many different versions of WoW 2. And all the hopes and dreams that come with them. Further, looking down the road, okay, Game Pass brings in a bunch of new people, but people didn't stick around for Dragonflight. So, if your sub is covered by Game Pass, that's awesome. And it's going to bring people back for sure, at least to try it. But a lot of people tried Dragonflight, then left. I know people keep using the retention thing. Okay, but we're retaining the bottom of the barrel now. And here's a news flash, Dragonflighters. They're not looking for retention when they build these games. They're looking for hype so that they can sell millions of copies and make a shit ton of money. That's what it's all about. You can make a 16-page Reddit forums on all the changes they need to make, but what they really want to make more than anything is fucking money. And Dragonflight didn't put out, and it damn sure didn't put out for all the attention it got. But is it actually just a specific Dragonflight problem? I mean, Warcraft, your communities are divided amongst these various game modes. It's been around for a long time. The systems are kind of getting old, I think. Right, and you're going to redo all that, make WoW 2 and put it on Game Pass. But holy shit, could that mean so many things? And how much development team is going to be left once the Microsoft purge happens? I mean, they're looking across all this shit that they just bought and they're like, we got to get our 69 billion back. 69 billion. It's just hard to fathom. Well, where do you begin? Well, number one, you start with Diablo Immortal, apparently. And then you look across the Blizzard products and you're looking at them and you're like, well, after Diablo Immortal, there's a pretty steep drop. And you recognize a very, very, very specific problem that the gaming community really suffers from. And this is why AAA companies really struggle to make great games and consistently remake them, is because it's actually really hard to find people that are talented enough to do it. The best games tend to come from people that have a real vision that's based out of a passion, right? They have a passion for the medieval era, so they create some type of medieval fighting game or strategy game. They have a passion for Warcraft. I mean, the passion is what kind of breeds greatness in a game. And, that certain combination of all that stuff lining up tends to come from people that are really into what they're doing. And it's hard to find those people that are working in a corporate world and are really attached to their LinkedIn. And, creative types don't tend to be real into that kind of stuff. So pulling from the corporate world and trying to find people to make an awesome game and that really resonates with people and gives them an experience that they want to continue. It's hard to find people that can do that, especially, I think, in the corporate world. And I think that's a problem with Diablo 4. No doubt they can make it beautiful. They can make it, they can do a lot of cool things. And boy, they can sure figure out how to monetize it. But can they make an actual game that makes you want to come back and be in that world and be in that experience? I think is a hard thing to do. And then to have the vision to try to keep that experience at least refreshed enough to get you coming back and keep you playing. It's an exceptionally challenge. It's a hard thing to do. It's just a very, very hard thing to do. And those are tough people to find, and that's why they're not finding them. And you're damn sure not going to find them in boardrooms and suits and, team building meetings and shit like that. I mean, how many more times is some small studio going to create this great game, get bought up by this giant, monetized to death, and then it's gone? It's a shell of its former self. And part of that is new games come out, the genre gets expanded, other people jump on the bandwagon. That's just the nature of gaming. No king reigns forever. People that mention WoW 2 as the future of Warcraft and the next thing that needs to happen, I really would need the specifics on what that means to you, because there's a lot of versions of WoW 2 out there. So we'll see. I think it's pretty clear the next expansion, if it's an island. Oh my God, if it's an island, I'm going to flip. Oh my God. But it's coming. There's going to be a few things to really watch here for. First off, when Warcraft is coming to Game Pass, initially there will be a surge, right? You could see this scenario. There will be a surge of players just because they'll be free from the $15 subscription that's rolled into their Game Pass. Great. So they come and they're tempted to try it. Well, that brings some people in, but do they stay? I don't know. But at this point, I really don't see how. I mean, you got to do something, and this could just be the lifeline WoW needs. But it might be hype at the beginning and then slowly fade, and because now you got to compete with the other games on Game Pass. I don't know. We'll see how Old Girl holds up, I suppose. Um, Removing the $15 sub will help just in general, but I mean, what are we moving to? That's always the question with the sub thing. You take the $15 sub off, fine, but now what? It's free to play, and then if you want the good stuff, you buy it, like seasonal content. Is that what we're moving towards? A battle pass? I'm sure we got to rent everything now. You poor kids. Nightmare. But I do have concerns. I mean, just in general, when I see that Diablo Immortal was successful, I find that concerning. And you know what's going to be even more concerning to me? How successful Warcraft Rumble's going to be. But I really love World of Warcraft. I love the World of Warcraft. It just means a lot of different things to a lot of different people at this point. And there's a lot of different ideas. And we like to rip each other up over them, but the reality is we all just see it from a lot of different angles. And I don't understand how you're going to bring these people all back if you're going to stick with the same recipe, but then you've kind of got this faithful base that wants to keep seeing the same recipe. They like this version of WoW that you've created. They're quite taken with it, actually. But yeah, WoW 2 will solve everything, and then we'll all be happy again. Hopefully they're going to clear up a lot of the chaos and confusion at BlizzCon, but I got a sneaky suspicion they could be creating a whole bunch more. So for now, we're on our way to that 10.2 station. I imagine they're going to do the Game Pass thing with the next expansion. I think that's what they'll do. They'll bundle it up or something. Maybe they'll just do it right away. Who knows? We'll find out soon. Either way, I'm going to be here to bother you the whole time. Talk to you soon. Boklahoma out.